लास्ट टाइम सतीश जी ने बताया था, और बाय प्रोफेशन वो जो मोम्बासा में पीकेएफ है उसके पार्टनर है।
मैं जग में संग बसाऊं, मैं जीवन को बिसराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं। त्याग तपस्या की ज्वाला से अंतर दीप जलाऊं, त्याग तपस्या की ज्वाला से अंतर दीप जलाऊं, रितांत्री के तार तार से स्नेह सुधा बरसाऊं, मैं जीवन ज्योत जलाऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं, मैं जीवन को बिसराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं। सूख रही जग की फुलवारी, प्रेम नीर बरसाऊं, सूख रही जग की फुलवारी, प्रेम नीर बरसाऊं, जन्मभूमि में चिर गौरव की लतिका को सरसाऊं, मैं केसरिया फहराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं, मैं जीवन को बिसराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं। बिंदु बिंदु फिर निर्जरणी के गायन में मिल जाऊं, बिंदु बिंदु फिर निर्जरणी के गायन में मिल जाऊं, विश्व धर्म के महाउद्धति में सर्वस खो मिल जाऊं, मैं लहरों में लहराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं, मैं जीवन को बिसराऊं, मैं जग में संग बसाऊं, मैं जीवन को बिसराऊं।
केन्या के माननीय संघचालक श्री परेश जी, केन्या के सहकार्यवाह श्री दिव्येश जी, केन्या की कार्यवाहिका श्रीमती जानकी बेन और केन्या के सहकार्यवाह श्री कमल जी, अन्य कार्यकर्तागण, प्रिय स्वयंसेवक बंधुओं तथा सेविका भगिनी, आज हम ये जो बौद्धिक श्रृंखला चल रही है दत्तोपंत जी के जो की पुस्तक कार्यकर्ता के आधार पर उसका 9वां सेशन शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। तो ये तीसरा पार्ट है जो हम तीसरे पार्ट का तीसरा पार्ट आज हम लेंगे। अभी अभी जो गीत हमने सुना दिया जी से, तो मुझे तो अभी गीत गाने का ही मन हो रहा है। काश कोई और बौद्धिक देता आज, इतना मधुर गीत था। और उस गीत के भाव भी जो हमारा ये बौद्धिक श्रृंखला चल रहा है उसी से मिलता जुलता है। तो जैसे हमने अगली बार किया था वैसे ही हम जो लास्ट टाइम हमने पॉइंट्स लिए थे उसका थोड़ा पुनः स्मरण कर लेंगे। तो पहला पॉइंट था निजी परिवार का भी सहभाग, और उसमें हमने देखे थे दो मुख्य पॉइंट कि सिर्फ कार्यकर्ता का त्याग ही नहीं चलता है, पूरी परिवार की तैयारी रहनी जरूरी है, और पूरे परिवार के जो जन हैं सभी का मन भी उसी दिशा में चलना चाहिए, वरना खींचातानी होगी और ये जो प्रतिकूल भावना है वो उत्पन्न हो सकती है। तो ये जो खासकर पारिवारिक जो कार्यकर्ता हैं प्रपंच में, जो मैरिड स्वयंसेवक, उसके लिए खास नोट करने वाली बात है। और दूसरी के वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस आनी चाहिए। जितना काम हम समाज में करते हैं घर में अंधेरा नहीं होना चाहिए। दूसरा पॉइंट हमने लिया था कार्यकर्ता का मापदंड। तो उसमें हमने एक पलड़े में देखा था कि कार्यकर्ता की क्षमता यानी एबिलिटी, उसकी एक्सपर्टीज और उसकी एफिशिएंसी होती है, होनी भी चाहिए, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा कार्यकर्ता का जो कन्विक्शन रहता है, कमिटमेंट रहता है, उसकी डेडिकेशन रहती है, और खासकर उसकी जो रिलायबिलिटी है, वो गुण ज्यादा महत्व के हमारे कार्य के लिए। फिर हमने देखा था कि हमारा एक पागल लोगों का संगठन है, और उसमें हमने देखा था कि हम चतुर हैं लेकिन चतुराई नहीं करते हैं। वी डू नॉट प्रैक्टिस shrewdness, क्योंकि हमने ऐसा तय किया है कि, और हमने जाना है कि हमारे कार्य में कोई शॉर्टकट्स नहीं है, कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइजेस ऑन फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल्स नहीं है। वी विल ऑलवेज स्टिक टू आवर फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल्स, वी विल नॉट टेक शॉर्टकट्स टू अचीव एन ऑब्जेक्टिव। और इसके लिए, और ये कब हो सकता है कि जब पूर्ण समर्पण होता है और पूरा निस्वार्थ भाव रहता है। और ये अहम भाव जो है उसको एलिमिनेट करने के लिए वी हैव टू बिलीव आवरसेल्व्स दैट वी आर ओनली अ साधन मात्र इन दिस बिग ऑब्जेक्टिव। फिर पॉइंट आया था आत्मसमर्पण की भावना के कारण प्रचंड मनोबल। तो हमने देखा था कि जो अगर अहंकार नहीं है और आत्मार्पण है तो उसके कारण प्रचंड मनोबल आएगा, और इस मनोबल से हम इवन इफ वी आर फिजिकली अनफिट, फ्रेल माइंड के होते हैं, तब भी हम बहुत बड़ा कार्य कर सकते हैं। और समय समय पर जो ये अंदर की शक्ति है, व्हेन इट गेट्स द अप्रोप्रिएट कॉल इट इमर्जेस, और अपने कार्य में ये कॉल हमको हमारा जो अधिष्ठान है उससे मिलता है। फिर हमने देखा था कि ध्येय के साथ एकात्म होने से विजिगीषु वृत्ति, द एटीट्यूड ऑफ विक्ट्री पैदा होती है व्हेन वी आर वन विद द गोल। सो एंड वी आल्सो लर्नड दैट फॉर द ग्रेट विक्ट्री इज नॉट विद द साधन्स बट इट इज विद द रेजोल्यूशंस दैट वी मेक, एंड विक्ट्री इज नॉट बेस्ड ऑन संख्या बल बट इट इज बेस्ड ऑन आवर निष्ठा। आवर निष्ठा मीन्स कन्विक्शन, फिर निश्चय द डिटर्मिनेशन, धीरज which is the patience, and साहस which is the courage। फिर बिंदु आया था कि ध्येय की आंतरिक शक्ति का वाहक। उसमें हमने देखा था कि अहंकार को हम जब निकाल देते हैं और ध्येय के साथ एकात्म हो जाते हैं तो a limitless strength is created। और हमने देखा था कि जो संख्यात्मक शक्ति एक बाजू और गुणात्मक शक्ति मीन्स द इंक्रीमेंटल स्ट्रेंथ आती है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द संगठन। फिर विपरीत परिस्थिति में भी अडिग रहना। हमने देखा था कि परिस्थिति कभी अनुकूल होती है, कभी प्रतिकूल होती है, समटाइम्स इट्स फेवरेबल, समटाइम्स इट्स अनफेवरेबल। तो उस समय हमारा मन या हमारी मनस्थिति कैसे होनी चाहिए? तो कहते हैं कि शांत होनी चाहिए, which is calm, संयत, which is moderate, and santulit, which is balanced. So we should be in that frame of mind. And we also saw that this kind of sthirata is absolutely necessary to find solutions in problem situations. फिर कार्यकर्ता विचलित होने के मनोवैज्ञानिक कारण हमने देखे थे, और उसमें आया था कि the main reasons are past regrets, future fears और present tensions. ये तीन वजह है इसके लिए कार्यकर्ता का मन विचलित हो सकता है. So we need to ponder over these points. और the last point we took was ध्येय पूर्ति की अटल सफलता पर विश्वास. Means we have accepted that this is an ईश्वरीय कार्य, विजय निश्चित है, and we have total faith in this work, and we have to develop this nirahankari atmavishwas to achieve whatever we have set ourselves to achieve. तो ये थोड़ा पुनः स्मरण करके हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. फिर पॉइंट आता है कि साधन सुविधाओं का विचार ही नहीं. तो ऐसे धीरज वाला जो स्वयंसेवक होता है, कार्यकर्ता होता है, निष्ठा से काम करते रहता है, निश्चय से काम करता है और साहस से काम करता है, he makes do with whatever little there is. उसके पास कोई साधन नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी वो उसी रास्ते पे चला जाता है, काम करते रहता है बिना साधन के. और इसमें एक बात आई थी, दत्तोपंत जी बताते हैं कि उसको whenever he thinks about this point, he always remembers Goswami Tulsidas, who said, Ravana Rathi Viratha Raghurai. Means when Prabhu Ram faced Ravana, he was on the ground and Ravana was on the Rath. And we all know that with the determination, eventually Ram won. Now Ram had the opportunity of calling his big army from Ayodhya, and he had all the support from the northern kings, but he didn't do any of that. He made do, he made a Vanar Sena, and with that, he set out to do whatever he eventually did. तो इसमें से क्या हम सीखते हैं कि जो कार्यकर्ता होता है वो एक तो आत्मनिर्भर होता है और इमेजिनेशन के साथ वो काम करता है, uses his own imagination, own initiative और आत्मविश्वास से he moves forward. He is not bound by the lack of any means or any equipment to take him to what he wants to do. और इसमें से हम एक चीज समझ सकते हैं कि अपने जो कार्यकर्ता हैं या अपने जो प्रचारक हैं वो काफी अलग अलग क्षेत्र में नया नया काम शुरू करने के लिए जब गए थे या जा रहे हैं तो they go and they find their way. They go single-handedly. They go with nothing with them. हमको पता है जब भिड़े जी केन्या में कार्य के लिए आए तो he just came on his own. But see where we are today. पूरे विश्व में हमारा कार्य फैल चुका है. It was not because he had so many things with him. He found his way. तो कार्यकर्तास go to work in different क्षेत्रों और they don't concentrate on the sadhano or the sankhya bal. So it is dependent on the gunavatta. So उस कार्यकर्ता या उस जो प्रचारक है उसकी क्वालिटी कैसी है, and he will out of his own initiative find a way to do the work. एक उदाहरण आता है कि शिवाजी के समय उसको दक्षिण दिग्विजय जब करना था, when he wanted to conquer the southern lands, so he has to pass through a kingdom which was under the rule of Qutub Shah, who was a Mughal ruler. So he had to pass through that. He didn't have to fight Qutub Shah, but he just had to pass through that. And so he had to take permission from Qutub Shah. So they had this discussion and Qutub Shah agreed. But Qutub Shah also was quite curious and he sent some of his own men to infiltrate the army of Shivaji to see what kind of strength Shivaji had. And उसने देखा कि शिवाजी के सेना में कोई हाथी नहीं है. there were no elephants in Shivaji's Sena. And he had a lot of hathis. So whilst they were having this discussion, he told Shivaji ke aap jao usse pehle mujhe हमारी सेना के जो हाथी है और आपकी सेना की जो हाथी है उसको सामने सामने लाना है. तो शिवाजी ने तुरंत जवाब दे दिया, हाँ, कब, कहाँ, knowing that he didn't have any elephants. तो तय हो गया कि the next day they would meet at a certain place at a certain time, and they met. तो कुतुब शाह का जो हाथी था, he came forward, and everybody was waiting. All the public had gathered and they were waiting for Shivaji's hathi. And suddenly a very, very short fellow by the name of Yeshaji Kank, he came forward, and he had talwars in both his hands, and he went around the elephant, climbed on top of the elephant, and did something till the elephant went down to the ground. And everybody was surprised, obviously, at that time. And Shivaji told Qutub Shah ki hamari sena ke jo sathi hai wo hamare hathi hai. So this showed ki kitna atmabal manobal tha, and they didn't rely on anything else but their own valor. एक दूसरा उदाहरण आता है कि महाभारत के समय हमको पता है, when the war was already decided, they were going, all the Pandavas and the Kauravas were going to various kingdoms to get support from different kings. And eventually they also went to Krishna. And Krishna said, I cannot favor any one of you, and I have to support equally both of you. So there is the choice of the army on one side, and there is the choice of me joining you on the other side. And we all know that the Pandavas chose Krishna, and Duryodhana chose the army. Yeah, so we all know that one gave weight to the Gunavakta, and the other gave weight to the Sankhya-bal, etc. So this point is quite important, that we don't necessarily need all the equipment. We can find our way and reach our destination. दूसरा point आता है, न प्रलोभन न भय, means no temptations, no fear. तो ध्येय के साथ एकात्म जो कार्यकर्ता होता है, वो उसका मन अविचल है, वो अविचल मानसिकता से अपने पथ पर चलते रहता है. He is not affected by difficulties or any temptations or fears. In the Niti Shatak, there is a saying which, there is a story about the Samudra Manthan. We know that during the Samudra Manthan, the objective was to get the Amrit, and both the Asuras and the Devas were part of this. And whilst the Samudra Manthan was going on, the churning of the ocean, a lot of temptations were thrown out, jewels and so many gold and everything. But the Devas were not enticed by any of this. They went and they continued. There was a lot of wish which was also thrown out. They still continued till they reached the end of the process and got the objective, which was the Amrit. So we should not be tempted during the course of our work by anything. हमको पता है कि हमारा ध्येय निश्चित है, और अगर ध्येय के साथ तादात्म्य है या एकात्मता है और व्यक्तिमत्व का आंतरिक संगठन है, means if our personality is composed, as we had talked about in the past about all the four things that, you know, the buddhi, mana, sharira, etc. If we have control over these things, और अगर हम मार्ग पर डटे रहते हैं, तो we don't need to get enticed by any of these problems that we may encounter. तो एक पॉइंट आता है, हम सबको पता होगा, कच्छदेव was a disciple of Shukracharya, and he was a very pious person. He did a lot of tapa, and at the time of leaving the ashram for one reason or the other, Shukracharya's daughter Devyani tried to entice him and proposed marriage, and he was not enticed by this temptation. He still left the ashram and went to do whatever he wanted, despite the fact that Devyani cursed him. And we all know what that curse was, is that ye jo Sanjeevani mantra hai, you will not remember it at the very time that you need it. But he did not waver. कुछ दत्तोपंत जी कुछ दो तीन और एग्जांपल देते हैं. उसमें एक चंगदेव वटेश्वर का एग्जांपल देते हैं कि he was doing this tapas and everything, but he became very proud of his achievements, and he started enjoying the fruits of this. So उसमें ही अटक गया वो, and therefore he did not get the effective spiritual development that he wanted. So he started enjoying these fruits. So whatever temptations come our way, if we get enticed in those and we get fixed in those, then we don't reach our ultimate objective. Another example he cites is Saint Augustine, who was a Christian saint, who was quite pious, but his statement was to his God that make me good, but not yet. I want to become good, but don't make me good just yet, because I want to enjoy a lot. So we can see that, we may get all these things along the path that we have taken. So we just need to be wary of this. The next point is apne lakshya par ekagrata, which is concentration on the goal. Now we all know that jo karyakarta samarpit hai, uske upar kai जिम्मेदारियां होती है. He gets many responsibilities. संघ की जिम्मेदारी होती है, कई अन्य संस्था से जुड़े हुए होते हैं, वहां की जिम्मेदारी होती है, अपने काम की जिम्मेदारी होती है, कि परिवार की जिम्मेदारी होती है, काफी जिम्मेदारी होती है. Despite all of this, he is focused on the ध्येय. और इसमें एग्जांपल्स आते हैं कि स्वामी रामकृष्ण परमहंस gave an example of a दाई. A दाई is a midwife. So it says that, a दाई who is in a palace tending to a king's child, वो सोने के पलड़े में उसको झुलाती है, लेकिन उसका ध्यान किधर है, उसका फोकस किधर है? To her own child in her own very poor home, और वो फटे हुए कपड़े पे उसका जो बच्चा सोया हुआ होता है, उसका जीव वहां है. So her thought is always on that, whilst she may be doing all these other things. Another example of a Marathi saint, he cites about these Gurjar Paniharis, who, these ladies who go to the well to fetch water. So, there are many of them, and they are walking together, and they have all these ghadas stacked one upon the other, and they are, masti moj karte hain, lekin focus kidhar hota hai? Focus us घड़े पे होता है कि कहीं वो घड़ा गिर ना जाए और फूट ना जाए. तो अपने लक्ष्य पर एकाग्रता होनी है. Despite whatever else, that we may be doing, we may be talking, we may be doing else, but our concentration is somewhere. Another example of a Marathi kavita was about a cheel who is flying is a bird, is flying in the air looking for food the whole day, but the man uska is on the kids, or on unke jo bacche hain घोंसले में, in the nest. The thought is always there. So ध्येय पे focus होता है. The other example, very famous example that we know about here is the Kauravas and Pandavas who were being taught Dhanurvidya by Dronacharya. Or the example is वो पंछी की आंख पे वो arrow लगाना था, और सबको पूछा गया कि आपको क्या दिखता है, and everybody started saying that I'm seeing this and that and the other. और अर्जुन को जब पूछा गया तो अर्जुन ने बोला कि मुझे सिर्फ वो पंछी की आंख दिखाई देती है. Or so what is the overall summary of this point? It is that we must have many dimensional vision, but single point concentration. Means we should be aware of what is going on in our society. We should be involved in many other things, but अपना ध्येय, हमने जो ये ध्येय चुना है, ये पथ चुना है, our main focus should be on this. We should not get entangled in all these other matters. We should do the relevant work that we are required to do, but our concentration should be on this main work. अगला विषय है कि संघ में हमारी नेतृत्व की अवधारणा क्या है, व्हाट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ लीडरशिप इन संघ। तो कार्यकर्ता का व्यक्तिमत्व होता है, उसका पर्सनालिटी होता है। ही हैज एक्सेप्टेड दिस निरहंकारी ध्येयनिष्ठा, ध्येय का साथ।
All these concepts will keep on repeating everywhere because these are the focal points of what we should be doing for. कोई ध्येय के साथ एकात्मता।
So you will see these being repeated everywhere. And the fact that we have accepted, or we should accept, that we are only a sadhan matra. So if we have all of this, samarpitata, this dedication, only then do we cultivate the leadership quality that is required of us. So, और हमने देखा कि all these things will lead us to that. But so we have already talked about all these ordinary qualities and these leadership qualities that are expected of us, and to achieve that what we need to do. But what we must realize is that अगर हम संघ में भी देखते हैं कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज अगर होती है, जिम्मेदारियां सबको लेनी होती है, तो देयर हैज टू बी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ हायरार्की। तो संघ में भी हम देखते हैं कि हायरार्की है। हायरार्की मीन्स लेवल्स ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। लेकिन हमारे यहाँ क्या विचार है कि द ग्रेटनेस इज नॉट ड्यू टू द पोजिशन बट फ्रॉम तपस्या। So our greatness is not because of the position we occupy or the status we occupy, but it is because of the tapasya that we do. So the example is कि सोना है, when it is in its raw form, वो आग में तपता तपता जब बाहर निकलता है तब it comes in its pure form. वैसे ही कार्यकर्ता वो जो कार्य की रगड़ में से और जो अहम का विलोप करते करते वो जब निकलता है, then they become ready for the leadership roles. So at one point we had seen in one of the examples how great Napoleon was and how he used to inspire his army, that even if they are 150,000 and we are only 50,000, I alone am equal to 100,000. But at a certain point in his life, he had started going after status and position, and therefore his principles had started to come to be watered down. And his concept was that men are like figures, means they are valued according to the position that they occupy. तो अगर हम ये एग्जांपल देखते हैं 1111, तो उसमें जो एक की इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू है, जो निजी आंतरिक उसकी जो वैल्यू है, वो एक ही है, लेकिन जिस पद को वो स्थित है, जिस पद में वो स्थित है, तो जो पहला है उसका मूल्य 1000 है, दूसरे का 100 है, तीसरे का 10 है और चौथे का 11 है। तो उसकी कॉन्सेप्ट ऐसे होने लगी कि पद अगर होता है तो हमारी ग्रेटनेस होती है। एंड इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड दिस इज हाउ ग्रेटनेस इज अनफॉर्चुनेटली व्यूड। इन टुडेज इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक वर्ल्ड, इट्स रियली बेस्ड ऑन द पोजीशन दैट पीपल ऑक्यूपाई। लेकिन हमारे यहाँ बिल्कुल अलग है। हमारी संस्कृति ये बताती है कि प्रासाद शिखरस्थो अपि काको न गरुड़ायते, मीन्स गरुड़ गरुड़ होता है और काक काक होता है। जो कौवा है वो कौवा होता है और जो गरुड़ है वो वी ऑल नो व्हाट अ गरुड़ इज। तो इवन इफ अ काक इज सिटिंग ऑन द रूफटॉप एंड a garud is on the ground, a cock does not become a garud. And therefore we understand that greatness is not due to position, but it is an internal and an authentic value that we have within ourselves and something that we cultivate. So in Sangha, the pad or the position is not a sign of the pratishtha or a status कि मैं विभाग कार्यवाह हूँ, मैं संघ चालक हूँ, but it is about the responsibility that you carry and what that role carries. So we must never lose sight of this. And संघ में बिल्कुल ऐसा होता है कि those who wish position are generally not given the position, no matter how able they are. And those who do not wish the position are given a position. So we should never be worrying कि संघ में मेरा स्थान क्या है, what is my role. That this concept of my position, मेरी responsibility, that will be decided by others. somebody decided that I have to play the role of a post Vibhag Karyavah. Somebody sat down and decided that this person should play this role. I don't have to worry कि मेरा role क्या होगा, when will I become this or when will I become that. Somebody will decide it for you. And this is something that we must realize. Classic example is Pandit Deen Dayal ji. हम सब जानते हैं पंडित दीन दयाल जी. जब जनसंघ की शुरुआत हुई, when he was sent into the field of politics, he went and approached the Guruji and told him कि look, आपको पता है कि मुझे ये राजनीति पॉलिटिक्स में मुझे रुचि नहीं है, क्यों आप मुझे इसमें भेज रहे हैं. तो गुरुजी ने उसको बोला कि just because you don't have that interest is why I am sending you. And he also told him that the day I realize that you have now become interested in this, I will remove you. So we can see the lesson that we have to learn from this, कि हमारी जो नेतृत्व की लीडरशिप की अवधारणा है वो कैसी है. So this is a very important point for all of us to remember. Moving on to the next point is naitikta, which means ethics and morality, is the proper basis of leadership. So we have seen that in Sangha, leadership is not really about administrative functions or constitutional, it's not a constitutional matter. और जब हम संघ को, जब हम नियुक्तियां करते हैं, जो भी करते हैं announcements, there is never any fanfare and big announcements or whatever. It is just a simple list read out. Okay, from now on you are going to be doing this, and immediately people start getting into that role by having betaks and whatnot. And so therefore it's all about the moral and value and principle based leadership. So it's not about administrative and constitutional matters. Another example that he cited was Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. He was never interested in politics and he didn't want to run for any seat. But at a certain point, the Jaunpur, which is an area in India, uske elections hone the, or people had asked him to participate. So uski jo planning बैठक हो रही थी उसमें वो गए और उसने सुना सबको. So the people were saying that if we want to ensure your victory, then we have to start voting based on vote bank politics, means जातिवाद पे हमने जाना चाहिए. तो ही इस ब्राह्मणों का जो एरिया है उसमें आप जीत के आएंगे. So he immediately refused, saying that I will not compromise on my principles and I will never ever do that. They still forced him to participate and he lost the elections, but he did not compromise on his principles. Another example is of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who we all know wrote India's constitution. So there was a by-election in a certain area in India, and due to the vagaries of the election process, it was decided that we will abstain from voting or we will not support a certain person, and which was completely against the principles of Dr. Babasaheb. He said, I have crafted the constitution, or we have got together and crafted this constitution, which has certain principles laid down. And we are going against the very principles we talked about. They still forced him to participate in that, and he obviously lost. But again, it's an example that he did not give up his ethics, his morality, and he did not give up his principles. He lived by the value-based and the principle-based leadership that these people demonstrated. So in conclusion, it was said that in apne karya mein, we may sometimes debate and compromise for immediate goals. कि adjust कर लेंगे इधर उधर, but we will never ever, or we should never ever compromise on our vichardhara, on the ultimate goal that we have set ourselves, and on our principles. So no compromise, and therefore we need to maintain our ethics and our morality. And Dattopanji says here that when somebody follows this kind of a leadership, ethical, moral-based leadership, sometimes they become very alone, because the world as we know is a very different kind of environment, and therefore they sometimes find themselves alone. So जब ये हिंदू राष्ट्र की बात हो रही थी, डॉक्टर हेडगेवार ने जब संघ शुरू किया और हिंदुओं की बात की, people were ashamed, about talking themselves as, or calling themselves Hindu, and talking about Hindu Rashtra. He at that time very categorically stated that if no one else says, I will still continue to say कि ये Hindu Rashtra है. So the conclusion is that अकेलापन बड़कपन की कीमत होती है. Means sometimes this greatness or whatever will, and this kind of leadership will leave you alone. But then that depends on you now, whether you're going to continue with this ethical and moral leadership, or are you going to get compromised? Another point was on Kanak or Kamini ke bare mein sajagta, means beware of material wealth and promiscuity. Means अपना जो personal character है, अपना जो व्यक्तिगत चरित्र है, that has to be absolutely spotless. कार्यकर्ता's व्यक्तिगत चरित्र must be absolutely spotless. People should not point a finger at you for any reasons. And for that, you cannot have double standards in personal life and public life. Means in a personal life, you have certain principles that you follow, but when you go out in the public, you show different kinds of behavior. Even in the Western world, it is seen that there is no tolerance for unethical behavior in public life. There are many examples that were cited. We all know about the President Clinton's things, the perfumer affair in the UK. There were quite a number of very, very significant events that had happened in people's public lives, where, for example, people were married, but they had got involved with other women, and therefore these became very scandalous affairs. So, on one side, they talk about all these principles, but, their behavior is very different. And therefore, even in the Western world, there is really no tolerance for this kind of behavior. So, apne yahan to baat kuch alag hi hai. So someone who is not reliable in their private life is also really not reliable in their public life. So we really need to fix ourselves internally and make sure that we follow, we walk the talk, as they say. Pujaniya Guruji used to say that some more spots or dag on an unclean cloth, no one will notice. But on a clean white cloth, even if you put a little bit of water, people will immediately see that, even though it will dry up in a little while, you may come back to the correct position. But for that particular time, people will see that. And therefore, the concept is really that you have to be this spotless person, and you have to be seen to be this spotless person. So in reality, you must be that, and everybody else must also see you to be that. And it's not only about ourselves only. It's not that we must be beware of these material wealth and promiscuity. We must also be careful about who we associate ourselves with. Because, in many circles, there is very much loose talk that goes on. People talk behind people's backs and talk about a lot of things. We don't need to get involved in any of these things. And therefore, we must be very careful with who we associate. This was a very complex point. When I was trying to read and understand it, it had very lofty ideas. And I really struggled to understand it, but I think so eventually I did manage to get something out of it. Is that the examples he gives is, of highly virtuous character is degraded rather than exalted by an attempt to reward virtue with temporal prosperity. Means, जो अच्छे चरित्र का कार्यकर्ता होता है, जिसके उसूल, जिसके principles एकदम उच्च कोटि के होते हैं, and he is on this path, virtuous path, and so when he is such very virtuous, then to reward him or to award him with temporal prosperity means if you act like this, then you will be given this, that, and the other. It is rather dangerous and damaging to that person. So what the reward for such a person in reality is internal consciousness of this high-minded discharge of duty. They look at their own reflections and see what they have achieved, and through that they get this internal antarik peace and bliss. Means the true reward of this virtuous behavior that you are following is internal bliss and peace. Means man ki antarik shanti और ये जो आनंद होता है, that really is the reward for this kind of behavior. It's not really any positions or you know, things that we will get apart from this. So the example he cited here is somebody asked Gandhiji that you know, ethics and everything is all fine, you know, for the Laukik Vyavahar, but why do you also need these kind of principles in Rajniti or in politics? All these are dispensable, you know. We don't really need these kind of principles. Gandhiji's response to him was, you know who Julius Caesar was, and you know who Jesus Christ was. Julius Caesar was the leader of the Romans, and he had all this power and everything. And Jesus Christ, he had this ethical and moral behavior, and he had these principles that he was following. So Gandhiji asked, who is remembered more today? And therefore, what does this tell us? So it's really this principle-based ethical leadership that we should be emulating. फिर अगला बिंदु है आत्म परीक्षण के आईने में, in the mirror of self introspection. Means ये जो सावधानी से हम बरतते हैं, सावधानी से जो हम कार्य करते हैं, सजगता से करते हैं, we are aware of all these things, तो उस सब करने से ये जो नैतिक नेतृत्व है, which is this ethical leadership that we are talking about, we cultivate all of this because of these things that we do. But what is the overriding concern? Please practice before you preach. Example cite करते हैं of the third Khalifa Umar, who was an Islamic Khalifa, and in his kingdom anybody could go to his court with any problems. So a woman had gone one day with a sick child, and she went to the Khalifa and said that my child is sick, and I went to the Hakim, the Vaid, and that Vaid told me that he has to stop eating salt. He has to stop consuming salt. And I've been trying to tell my child to do that, but he's not listening. So the Khalifa told that woman, come back after 15 days. And so the woman went away and came back after 15 days. And then the Khalifa told the child that you need to give up eating salt. And the child immediately gave up eating salt. So the woman asked that, how come when you said it, he immediately gave it up? So he said, the reason I asked you to come back after 15 days is that I also love a lot of salt and I take a lot of salt. For the last 15 days, I gave up this salt and I realized the benefits. And therefore I developed this internal, you know, Shakti, which enabled me to tell this person and to effectively tell him. And therefore it is saying that you need to bring this into your own life. So you need to set examples. You need to become role models. You cannot preach to somebody and expect that they will emulate you if you yourself are not doing it. So खुद के बारे में सावधान रहने की जो बात होती है वो बहुत कठिन बात होती है. And therefore constant self introspection, this constant looking inward, and ensuring that we are walking the talk, we are you know, making sure that we are doing the things that we need to be doing before we go and tell others. पिछले भी एक एग्जाम्पल में हमने देखा था कि, you know, दत्तोपंत जी खुद को भी बोला गया था, if you understood yourself internally before you are going to think about the welfare of these workers. So this constant self introspection comes into play. And the Karyakarta, and why is all this important? Because the Karyakarta is not there to create a false image in society, but really he has to project a true picture of himself. And therefore he should not be shy to also hide his own weaknesses. Means we don't want to go into the public and project ourselves as something we are not. And therefore we must project a true picture of ourselves. And as we all know, it is very easy to point fingers. People who know about the Bible and Jesus, and there is this example that Jesus Christ, was there, and there was this woman who was of, bad character. People called her a woman with bad character, and she became pregnant, and obviously all the townsfolk took stones and wanted to pelt her with those stones and beat her with those stones. And therefore Jesus Christ intervened at that time and said, let he who amongst you who is without a sin cast the first stone. कि आप में से जो है जिसने पाप नहीं किया हो, जिसने कुछ खराब नहीं किया हो, let him be the first one to throw this stone to this woman. And obviously nobody was able to throw that stone, because when they looked inward, everybody realized their own faults. And therefore you can't point a finger to somebody when you yourself are not following the true path. And therefore this is the danger, that you develop this pride about your own ethical behavior. हम तो कितने अच्छे हैं, हम तो ऐसा करते हैं, वैसा करते हैं, हमारे में ये गुण है. And you start down looking upon others. You start believing yourself to be Shreshtha. Even within Sangha, we may sometimes get this feeling that we are doing what we are doing is the right thing. And therefore we should not get to your head. Don't start down looking upon people. So just be careful about these points. So these are some of the things, when we at the outset said that we have to develop certain qualities, and we have to be mindful of the pitfalls and dangers that lie along our path. So these are some of the pitfalls and dangers that we are now talking about. So it's talking about qualities as well as what we need to be wary of. And then, we need to avoid associating with people who have loose talk. Jo bhi man mein aata hai wo bolte jate hain, not realizing what the implications would be in the larger context. फिर as a very important point here, निजी कर्तृत्व की सीमाओं का स्वीकार. When the time comes, we must recognize our personal limitations. We must realize when it is the time to hand over to someone who is more capable and more suitable. Because it is not about holding on to the leadership mantle, but we have kept the dhya in the mind. We have to get to a dhya, and it is not just me who is going to get there. So when some certain kind of work has to be done and there is somebody who is more capable of doing it, then that handing over should and must happen. So some examples were given by the Topanji is about, the Italian War of Independence when Italy was part of the Austrian kingdom. There was this person called Mazzini. He was very good at organizing and mobilizing the people to go into war. And therefore he did that work. He organized the people, sabke man mein wo bharna, the pride and all that thing. He mobilized the people. And then now, when it came to going to actual war, he stepped back. And Garibaldi, who was an expert at fighting the war, was brought in. And this Mazzini donned an army man's clothes and stood behind Garibaldi and said, now you lead. And when the war was over and they won the independence, when it now came for somebody to take that leadership position, Garibaldi also stepped back and said, I want to now go and leave. And this Kaihur person is the person who will now carry forward, because now it is a matter of politics, it is a matter of diplomacy, and who best suited for this than Koihur. So you can see that what's happening. You find somebody more capable, you need to hand over. An example from our own history is about Chanakya, who with Chandragupta defeated Mahananda Padma, who was a very evil ruler. So Chandragupta did all the, Chanakya did all the Kranti, inspiration, the Vyuha Rachana, the Kartrutva, everything he did. When they won, when he uprooted Mahananda Padma, now when it came to ruling the kingdom, he handed over to Pradhan Rakshasa, Amatya Rakshasa, we all know about this, who was one of the finest politicians in Chandragupta's times. So Chanakya also said, now somebody else has to take over. Lokmanya Tilak in about the early 1920s, 1916 to be said, was a very popular leader in the Congress. And Gandhiji at that time was in South Africa conducting the Satyagraha movement, the non-violent confrontation. So when Gandhiji came back to India, to Bharat, Lokmanya Tilak looked at the sentiments of the people and saw that, there is this bent of mind now towards this Satyagraha. It started taking, a prominent, being a prominent thing in people's minds. And therefore, quietly, he said, now Gandhiji, I am very popular. I'm even more popular than you. But if the public now decides that we want to go Satyagraha route, then you are the one who is now going to take it forward. And therefore, he gave up. We all know that he immediately died after this, and therefore that was another story. But if he had lived on, then really it is just about this, that he is handing over to somebody who is more capable. Gandhiji's own example, the Belgaum Congress Adhiveshan is the one and only time where he was the president of this particular conference. And there was a resolution to be passed at that council to, at that conference, to join a certain council. Most of the people were in his favor, and the resolution was passed as well. But then he realized, and he went around the country for about 6 months looking at people's sentiments. And then he realized that really there were a lot of people who were actually not in favor of joining the council. And therefore, he now felt that he wrote a resignation letter to Pandit Motilal Nehru and handed it over to him and told him that, look, the people's sentiments are clear. I now need to give up, and you are best suited to take this forward. So we can all see these examples of, where when you now find that there is somebody more suitable and more capable of doing the work, then you hand over, and it's not all about holding on to this leadership. दूसरा पॉइंट है अपने कर्तृत्व के बारे में विनम्र भाव, humility about one's capabilities and achievements. And this is really all about, recognizing that it's all about teamwork and not taking the personal credit. कई दफा हम कार्यकर्ता काम करते हैं, and we feel, we get this feeling कि मेरी वजह से ये हुआ, मेरी वजह से ये कार्य शुरू हुआ, मेरी वजह से वो हुआ. And it is but natural in human beings for this feeling to come into us. But then really what it is all about, what do Karyakartas need to be aware of? That it's not about me, but it's really about the teamwork. And the example that he gave was of Neil Armstrong, who we all know was one of the first men to set foot on the moon. And he led the Apollo moon mission in 1969. And then when he was asked in one interview by Vikram Sarabhai, our own Bharat's space person, he asked Neil Armstrong that you have this charisma and you did this achievement. At that time, Neil Armstrong said that it's really not me, it's the team who really set up the project. All the people who worked behind this are the ones who really made this a success, and not me. And therefore that humility. George Washington's example during the American War of Independence, through his own strategies and everything, they were winning, and people started getting worried that if and once we win, George Washington might take over and assume leadership. And therefore, he realized this, and what he did, he shouldn't have done what he did, but he still did it. He started sabotaging this War of Independence. I mean, it was his own war, but he started sabotaging this war. Why? Because he wanted to create this resentment. He wanted to create that resentment in people and say, okay, I'm not the one who's really going to take this. And then people realized what he was doing, and eventually they did win the war. And they then approached George Washington, and he had become very popular by then. And he had the choice of accepting the leadership because they told him to become the leader. But what did he do? He said no. He formed a constitutional committee and he got elections done. And therefore, this was his humility. He did all this. He had these capabilities. He could have taken this leadership position immediately. He had all these achievements, but he took the right thing. So, we need to be humble about what we do. Bajirao Peshwa's example, when he won the, Uttar Digvijay, everyone in that region started calling him Swami, and he immediately told people that, everybody is calling me Swami, but the Swami is sitting in Satara, who was Shahu Chhatrapati. So he was, being humble about his achievements. So this point is extremely important. We shouldn't let things get into our head. Okay, we have achieved this, कि मेरी वजह से ये हुआ है, and we need to recognize that, it's all a team. This also is a very important point, कि हमारा अस्तित्व अपरिहार्य नहीं, निमित्त मात्र, which means that we are by no means indispensable. We are only instrumental. हम ये साधन की जो बात करते हैं कि हमको सोचना चाहिए कि हम साधन मात्र ही हैं. That level of humility we must have, that egolessness. I am just an instrument in this bigger objective, and I am I am dispensable. Means कि हम जो कार्य करते हैं वो उसमें व्यक्तिगत लगाव नहीं आना चाहिए. There must be unattached involvement in the work we do. Means कार्यमग्नता होती है. We are steadfast on this path. We are determined on this path. We do our level best on this, and we do so much. But उसमें भी ये जो निवृत्ति की भावना होती है, means unattached involvement. You don't get attached and just entangled in that. And therefore, this concept of no ego, of personal involvement and achievement, which has been repeatedly talked about, that we are sadhan matra. An example he gives is of this is Garden, who was an army officer in the Sudanese war. The British had won or had taken over Sudan. And, when they had won this war, he wrote a poem. And in this poem, he's saying, I do nothing of this. I am merely a chisel that cuts the wood. मैं तो सिर्फ कुल्हाड़ी हूँ जो ये लकड़े को काटती है. उसको डायरेक्ट कौन करता है इस कुल्हाड़ी को? The carpenter, means वो ऊपर वाला. If अगर ये कुल्हाड़ी की जो धार है, if it gets blunt, then who is going to sharpen it? It is that ऊपर वाला. It is for him to sharpen it. And therefore, no one is indispensable to him. He can get his work done through a straw as well. He doesn't need the kulhadi. Even with the straw, he will get his work done. And therefore, this is the true mark of leadership. This, that we are not indispensable. People can do without us. So Guruji, we all know, said that, we have Dr. G's memorial in Reshimbagh, but Guruji eventually said that we don't want to have this concept of memorials after, some karyakarta has died, to create a memorial after them, because after all, we are not, we do not believe in Vyakti Nishtha. We believe in Mulya Nishtha, means we believe in the principles, not in the person behind this principle. Okay, so this is an important point, and therefore it's all about cultivating humility. And as we can see, very nicely put here, that if the flute cracks, agar bansi में, कोई crack आ जाता है, तो ऊपर वाला बंसी बदल देगा. लेकिन वो जो धुन है, music है, that will continue intermittently. And the ultimate of all, a poet had written, which is what a karyakarta's, real inner belief should be, that let me live unseen, unknown. मैं karyakarta हूँ, कोई मुझे देखे नहीं. Nobody should see me. Let me be hidden. And after death, do not put a stone to tell where I am. मेरे जाने के बाद सब मुझे भूल जाए. So that is the level of, apariharyata and, this thing that we are talking about, that we are simply an instrument in this bigger objective. So आज का last point है, मृत्यु ही विश्रांति. Means we work till the end. And why do we continue? Why do we see so many karyakartas working right to the end? It's due to this intense conviction, despite all these external difficulties that people face, despite the physical challenges, despite the old age, people continuously tread the path and work till their last breath. And there are numerous examples that are available. In the past, in one of the examples, we talked about Charu Majumdar, Che Guevara, Morapanji Pingde, who were very frail and very sick, yet they led the revolution. They led the Naxalite movement. They led the underground activities of Sangh during the emergency, and they were very sick. Some of them died immediately after achieving the objective, but they went on right till the end. Real life examples, Maharashtra Pranta Sangchalak Baba Rao Bhide, he was a heart patient. He drove to the Nashik Sangha Siksha Varga Udghatan program. He reached there at night, and then in the Udghatan Karyakram, just before the Udghatan Karyakram, he passed away. He was very, very sick, but he drove and he went there. Another example he cites is of a Vijayawada Vibhaga Karyava, Shri Anjaneyalu. He was on a stage. He gave the parichay of Bada Saheb Ji. He was very sick, but he gave the parichay of Bada Saheb Ji, of the Anya Adhikari Gana that was sitting there, the Anya invited guests. And in front of thousands of Swayamsevaks, in front of all these people, in front of, everything, he died. He got a heart attack and he passed away in front of all these people. And the last point really is, somebody mentioned that Bhagavad Dwaj apnaya hai, to moh kaha in prano ka. Means, we have chosen this path. Then prana ka moh kidhar hai? We will, exterminate ourselves. और अपनी प्रार्थना के अंत में भी वही आता है कि हम अपने आप को खपा देंगे इस कार्य में. We will, eliminate ourselves in completely, burn ourselves in this कार्य. तो इतना कहते हुए आज का ये सत्र हम यहाँ समाप्त करते हैं. नमस्ते.